Business, the Art of Winning. My name is William Farmer, and this is episode 18, The Real Reason We Procrastinate, sponsored by our Unstoppable Leaders Masterclass, How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. Now, this program is half a day valued at $600. You can actually get this program for complimentary. In other words, you can register. We're going to be running it in Cairns. Okay, and again, for my outside audiences that are international, another beautiful place you need to visit once all the restrictions are taken away and you can come to beautiful Australia. Cairns is an ideal place to spend your holidays. So we'll be running that on the 12th of October, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for those who live in Cairns. And the next one in Brisbane will be on the 19th of October. Actually, it'll be our last one for the year. It's a brilliant process, again, to discover your own unlimited potential. And we'll give you some practical insight on how to do that. So that is Unstoppable Leaders Masterclass. So the real reason why we procrastinate. Well, what is it? There are three key things that we'll discuss today. And the first one is vision. Now, you think about it. We talked about this last time on time management. There are two areas for time management why we might not use our time effectively. So I'm just going to highlight it. And procrastination was the second reason. First one was planning. Second one is procrastination. I'm going to highlight procrastination. So one of the reasons why we do procrastinate is we don't see the wood from the trees. We don't actually have a clear intention or a vision. Nothing is more attractive than someone that knows what they're doing, someone that knows where they're going. And when you think about energy, imagine hopping on an airplane and you're off to Hawaii from, say, New Zealand to Hawaii, and they just take a detour. They go through Australia, Indonesia, and eventually all around. You'd go, that's pretty frustrating. Why? Because there's a more direct route. And when we start to clarify our vision, that's what happens. We have a more direct route. And we're much more energized, we're much more enthusiastic because we can have little benchmarks to get to that end destination. So one of the key challenges to why we might procrastinate is we haven't taken that time out to ask ourselves that really important question. Well, why do I want it? What's in it for me? What's my desirable state? What's the pleasure in it? And actually getting our mind around that. And better, our hearts around that. Because when you're emotionally engaged, you are less likely to procrastinate. So we talked about this in other episodes. There are two key motivations. First one is the avoidance of pain, unless you're into that, and the seeking of pleasure. And most of us don't like being in pain. We just, we're human beings. There's a reason why we have a comfort zone. Our comfort zone is because we're smart. What do we mean? We don't want to be uncomfortable about living this day-to-day life. So we create systems and process and even people and relationships where we're comfortable. So companies that grow past 150, they no longer have that, that family feel, and people start to what we call disassociate with that family feel of business. Because the capacity for human beings to go past 150 friends, I know that you might have 5,000 people on your Facebook, but when we're talking about engagement around day-to-day contact, the psychological discomfort is past 150 people. My father said to me, hey, William, if you actually have more than 5 real, authentic relationships, you're a wealthy man. Well, I'm lucky. I actually have at least 5, in fact, no more than though, deep relationships that I would call deep friendships. Now I have associated friendships, people that I love hanging with and talking to and I can relate to past that. And because I have been to Dale Carnegie for the last 30 years, I have thousands of people that I've trained and that I would definitely have a conversation with. My comfort though would be around a certain cluster. Now yours might be bigger than mine, but we operate around that 150 mark. It starts to get very uncomfortable for businesses. And so you have to have different cells. And so my point is so have that vision, understand what it is in for you, what's the pleasure of that vision, Okay, and which leads me to the next thing, the discomfort, which sometimes is which is the second key things, the reasons why we might procrastinate, is our upper level. Sometimes when you think about, one of the things that in coaching hundreds of thousands of people over a long period of time, I've realized that a lot of time we sabotage our own success because we don't want to be successful. Now, it sounds crazy because we might sign up for a program, sign up for a course, really have enthusiasm, and you project that really, really well, but our actions aren't congruent with what we say we want. And that's that sabotage operating. A lot of the time, we're not conscious of why we sabotage. A lot of the time, it could be what's been anchored in your journey, in your childhood, in your young teens, or even as a young adult. What's anchoring that is unconscious? Now, the conscious mind, apparently, or the subconscious mind, is 30,000 times faster than the conscious mind. So that's, I don't know, clocked it, it's really quick, if you can imagine. But the information that's in our subconscious mind has a bearing on our conscious actions. So if I've got some pain associated around actually being successful, but I'm not conscious of it, it's in my subconscious mind, that might be a program that's getting in the way of my success. One of the reasons why I might be procrastinating. So one key is vision, intention. Someone who really knows where they're going tends to be much more unstoppable, right? So pleasure and also associated pain. What's the pain of not achieving this? So the second one, number 2, is upper level. What's the upper limit? Okay, I say I want this, but my behavior is actually different to the things that I say I want. So one of the reasons why we might procrastinate is unconscious. Catch yourself. Okay, I said I want this, but I'm not actually working towards that the way I said I was going to do it. I really want to have a fit, strong body, but I've missed 2 of my gym sessions this week. Now, we both know, or all know, that that's self-sabotage, because the reality is if you want what that fine, trim, fit machine, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you in getting up early and go to the gym, eating the right foods, and maybe even changing your lifestyle. So what is my upper level that is stopping me from achieving? Use the powerful motivational factors. Okay, what's the pleasure button? What's the pain? What's the cost if I don't achieve what I want to achieve? If it's physical health, I'm actually moving more into my third semester, I guess, in life. And I realize now that I used to just go to the gym and go for a run, and it was like a miracle. My body would just respond so fast. It would be easy. I do the same thing. In fact, I think I work harder now than I've ever worked physically, and I'm getting less results. And why is that? Because my metabolism's slowing down. I still love really lovely food and good wine and that sort of thing. So I have to refrain from some of those things that I really enjoy. And my body's different to when I was in my 30s. So even though I may have that vision of wanting, this is what I want, this is why I want it, I actually have to start to change and shift some of those behaviors that are holding me back. Now, we talked about this in other podcasts. You're actually nearly impossible to actually change a behavior. You have to write over it. And what does that mean? It means a process that you have identified that's going to get you to where you want to be. You have to, again, associate, hey, what's the pleasure of following that process? Because some days I'm not going to want to follow that process. And it takes 21 days typically to be able to change or write over a behavior. You've got to pay the cost of that. And so that's point 2. So point 3 is, the unconscious blind spots. What are some of the blind spots that I haven't identified that can stop me from moving forward? What is I used to own a Chrysler. It's a Chrysler 300. They're a big car. They're the car that, the mafia would use, for obvious reason. The boot space is awesome. And unfortunately, because it is a very, very big car, sometimes I would have a blind spot on the passenger side and cars would get really annoyed with me because I just cut them off. And look, I didn't do it intentionally. It's just that as the car was quite a big car, and there was just a certain point I started to realize that I was missing seeing these cars. Actually, I did sell it recently because it was becoming a bit of an issue for me. But, we've all had that experience if we've been driving for more than 10 years. Where did the car come from? It just came from nowhere. That's a blind spot. And, one of the areas, if we want to minimize our effective procrastination, is to get feedback. Now, how do you get feedback? Sometimes your best friend can be good feedback. Actually, in my classes, I talk about, hey, if you really enjoy feedback, go home and talk to your partner and ask them 10 things that they think you should improve. You know what? No, not one hand will be put up to say, yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, that's great advice. And the reason why they don't put up their hand is because they know that their partner could probably suggest more than 10. All right. But yet, having feedback from people that you trust is a really important part of your own professional development, your own personal development. Not everyone has your good intentions at hand, so you have to be really selective about those people who you do ask for feedback. One of the things that I've learned to do is choose friends that don't think like me. Why? Because I know how I think. Birds of a feather flock together, and that's fair enough. Okay, you tend to see motivated people hanging out with motivated people. You tend to see negative people hanging out with negative. Negativity, builds company. The reality is that, everyone has a gift. And our goal, especially our goal in our business, we believe leaders are unstoppable. Hence the reason why we run the Unstoppable Seminar, is to help people to realize their gift and enhance that gift as far as they can. And remember to give it away to other people, because what happens is they ignite their gift in them. And that way we become a better society, a better world. They become better family members, better friends, better lovers, and so on. So one of the key things about blind spots is realize that we all have them. And that if we can start to identify those blind spots, we can start to look at those behaviors and start to remove it. So 3 reasons why we procrastinate. First one is planning or vision, not understanding why we're doing something. Also, we need to look at the pleasure of advancing and the pain of not, and really get that clear in our mind. Because one of the key things is about motivating ourselves. Remember the Procrastination Club? These people really wanted to overcome procrastination, but they could never get around to starting the club. Right? So that's one of the key things, is know what you want and know why you want it. The second area of making sure that we're able to move forward is identify some of those blind spots that can stop us. And the other one is the upper level, making sure that we understand the benefit of pushing our own limited thoughts, our own limited ways of being. So if you want to give up procrastinating, look at some of the advice that we've given today and think, hey, all right, I'm saying I don't want to procrastinate. I want to go to the gym. I want to get a fit body, or I want to open my business. I want to start it now. Okay, what are some of the things that I need to be honest around that will allow me not to procrastinate? Vision. Okay, make sure you identify your blind spots and also identify some of those things that can be an upper level. I'm William Farmer. This podcast has been sponsored today by Unstoppable Leaders Masterclass, How to Influence People in the Digital Age. We're running a program in Cairns on the 12th of October and in Brisbane on the 19th of October. It's going to be a fantastic event. Check us out on Eventbrite and register today. Hey, thank you for being part of episode 18. I'm William Farmer, Managing Director for Dale Carnegie Australia. Remember, business, the art of winning is you.